Assalamu alaikum. How are you? We are discussing oral presentation. In the previous almost 2 lectures, we have discussed this topic in details. We have seen that this type of oral presentation is different from other types. In it, we make that extensive preparation which we do in other written messages. Here we have seen that how do we plan, we know our purpose, and then we make a very thorough planning, taking care of the audience, the most important ingredient in the preparation of this oral presentation. Then we go on to writing step, and you have seen that it's again a very long step and we do a lot of things. Then the completing stage, and you have seen that here too we do a lot of things. Yesterday we read one skeleton of a presentation. Today I want to read one presentation. My purpose is to show you that how to make preparation and how to make oral presentation. So you could have a model before you, and when you are going to prepare your own oral presentation, you could follow the same steps and you could have a model for it. So let's read this presentation. It is by some company senior officer on marketing strategy, or rather on corporate strategy. So you'll see that how the gentleman or the speaker of this oral presentation begins it. Most important thing about this is to see how different signals are used. As I told you yesterday that I'll be discussing with you different signals. So you must check that the way the speaker start this by giving a signal in the beginning. At every turnover, the speaker is giving one signal. He is concluding the previous thing and switching over to the new point. So you must notice this thing. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to thank you all for being here. My purpose today is to tell you about our corporate strategy for the next decade, and more specifically to bring you up to date with our plans for Quetta. To start with, I would like to describe briefly our current marketing policy in the Punjab. Then I'll illustrate some of the problems we are having over market share. After that, I'll quickly outline the opportunities we see for further progress in the 21st century. Finally, I'll quickly sum up before concluding with some recommendations. So you see that how the beginning is given in this presentation. The speaker of this presentation starts with welcoming the audience, and in a very befitting manner, he has given the main purpose of this presentation. He has very accurately given the main idea of his presentation. Now you see the rest of it. Please feel free to interrupt me if you have any question at any time. Now I would like to draw your attention to chart B, showing our sales revenue and pre-tax profits over the last 10 years. You will notice that although turnover has risen, our profits have not increased at the same rate. I have talked about our current position in the Punjab, and I have pointed out some of the problems we are facing. Well, what options are open to us now? where do we go from here? As I have already indicated, I think our first priority must be to build on the excellent results we have achieved in certain markets in Sindh. I'm referring, of course, to Karachi and Hyderabad. Let me quickly expand on those successes before we move on. We should not forget the Peshawar market. Admittedly, our results have been poor so far, but there are signs the market is changing and we can learn a lot from our mistakes. On balance, though, I think we stand to gain most from concentrating on southern areas, and I strongly recommend we put all our efforts into further expansion in these areas. In conclusion, may I thank you all for being such an attentive and responsive audience. Thank you also for your pertinent question. Are there any final questions? So, if you look at this presentation, obviously, I have not gone into details. It's not possible. I've just tried to show you different steps that takes place in our presentation, how it is begun, how the writer switches over from one point to another by giving certain signals, and how the writer concludes his presentation. So this is the way a presentation should be given, should be prepared, and then it should be given. As I told you, you must make yourself well versant with the signals, with the transition that we've been stressing upon time and again in all these topics, right? So I would like to read few signals. Signals mean transition that shows the audience that what you are talking about. You're going to begin your presentation. You are switching over from one point to another point. You are concluding one point. You are concluding your whole presentation. So these signals can be very, very fruitful for learners, especially who want to learn from others. You know that I have always stressed this point, that whenever you want to learn something, you, especially in this subject, we have stressed this point, that you must read good and bad examples. So these good and bad examples will tell you that what is going to be your own method of the thing. So we are going to give you some good signals to begin with, to start with, so that whenever you are going to make your own presentation, you could use them. So to begin with, just whenever you have to begin any presentation, you can use such signals like, I'll start with memory models, introducing the topic. This is the introduction of the topic. I'll start by, first of all, I've told you about, so once you have told something, so before switching over to the next, you give this signal, right? I've told you about, we have looked at this thing, that's all I have to say about this certain thing. And then, for example, you're moving over to something next. Let me turn on to this thing. Let's move on to, I would like now to discuss this thing. And whenever you are going to start something new, you can say, starting with this thing, like this. So you will see a lot of signals like this. So when you come to an end, you can use such signal like, let's recap. I would like to sum up now. Let me summarize briefly what I have said. Let me remind you briefly of some of the points I have made. So if you look at these signals, you will find that these signals can be very helpful in making good presentation. When you will keep them before you while you are making your own presentation, you will find them very helpful. Similarly, you can use other transition, like especially whenever you are you have more points, you can start with first, secondly, thirdly, lastly, like these transitions. So another very easy way to learn oral presentation is to making oral presentation for yourself, so that you could be able to grasp this aspect. So I would advise you, just pick up any packet of any electronic device or any other thing. You will see that the product is described in different ways on the packet, on different sides of the packet. So you take any packet, you'll find features about that product on that packet. So you can make a mock presentation, you can practice delivering it before your friends. So this is one way of learning oral presentation, and I tell you that the skill of oral presentation is a very prized skill, and this can take you up the ladder and can help you in promotion. Next to this oral presentation, we are today going to study another aspect of oral communication. Oral communication is very wide. We have discussed different aspects of written communication, and we've given a lot of time to it. But oral communication is equally important. Today we are going to take up another topic of oral communication, and this is negotiating skills. In negotiating skills, you also require your oral skills. So this is one topic which actually needs a lot of discussion. It calls for understanding of different subjects. In negotiating skills, you need to first of all know what is this process. Like any type of communication, this is also a process. So you need to understand what is this process, then what are the successful features, qualities of successful negotiators. Then you need to understand negotiating strategies. Remember that when people are negotiating, they come to negotiate, though I have not yet explained what is negotiation, but it's very well known to you. I mean, at least you can understand its meaning. Whenever people are interacting in such a situation, they are just coming with their styles. So we need to understand the styles of people. What are the styles of people? Because here we need a bit understanding of their thinking process. So as I told you in my first lecture, that business communication touches all other subjects, including psychology. So here we would like to discuss some psychological point of the negotiators, their understanding process. So then we will discuss that when people come, they not only come with the style, they also come with the power they are given by their position or their access to resources. And what are the steps involved in negotiation? What are the barriers, psychological barriers? Why people come to a deadlock, a standstill? So this topic is also one aspect of oral communication. So we begin with this negotiation skills by defining this process. We can simply define negotiation as a process in which two or more parties try to resolve differences, solve problems, and reach any agreement. So what is this process? Whenever there are some problems, people are working together, so at certain points they encounter certain situation in which their interest conflicts with each other's interest. So as a result, they come to settle these things on table, because there is no other way. So whenever there is some problem, people talk together in individually or in groups. So the basic purpose is to resolve these differences. So when you are resolving these differences, you are actually in the process of negotiating, and your purpose is to solve the problem. This is what the process of negotiation. You have some differences, some problems, and you have to reach some agreement. Remember that good negotiation meets at as many interests as possible with an agreement that is durable. I mean, the purpose is to reach the agreement having some interest which are mutual. So first of all, we need to discuss the qualities of successful negotiator. Negotiator are people, and we need to understand that what type of people they are. Negotiator always collaborate with another party or parties to reach a mutually beneficial agreement. So there was some problem, and these are the people to resolve these problems. Remember that not everyone in any organization can do this duty. This is a very sensitive issue, because there is some problem and there is some misunderstanding, and this problem needs to be resolved amicably. You have to safeguard your interest while other parties also safeguarding its interest, and this is the situation. And in this situation, you have to take your interest, and also you have to do it in such a way that you do not damage the interest of the second party. You do not get interest at the expense of the second party. So for being a good negotiator, you need to collaborate with one party or another party to reach a mutually beneficial agreement. For this, you use empathy. Empathy is just like the principle of consideration. You go into the shoes of your listener or the other person. So unless you go into the situation yourself, unless you try to understand the problem from the other party's point of view, you are not going to be a good negotiator. You are not going to resolve the issue. If you think that you are right and the other party is wrong, in that case you can never reach any conclusion. So empathy is very important. Being able to collaborate, you also need to use this empathy, and then put yourself in another person's position. Show understanding, show concern for the other person or the other party. Most importantly, you need to respond very honestly. Honesty is the key to all these things, all these issues. In business communication, we time and again repeat this, that whenever you have to explain one situation to other people, you need to be honest. You need to respond very honestly. Honesty demands that you should be fair, and you should treat other people fairly. Remember, your positive regard for yourself and for other involved will communicate your warmth and acceptance of them. First of all, be positive about yourself. If you are not feeling this positivity about yourself, you are not going to give this to others. A negotiator who have respect for themselves are also like to show respect for others. So you see that negotiator have certain qualities, certain features they are man of characters. They are honest. They give understanding. They are very good listener. But at the same time, they just stand firm to their opinion. They try to understand. They try to understand the problems. They try to understand what other people are saying, and they apply the situation to themselves. And moreover, they have respect for themselves, and this sense of respect is communicated to other people. Good negotiators, verbal and non-verbal communication is always open. They are not, closed lips. They give a very friendly expression to others. Whenever other asks for any information, and they are open to give them a proper feedback. They are very confident and oriented to the needs and concern of the both parties. So these are the qualities of good negotiators. Negotiating, as I told you, that negotiation is a process which is meant to resolve some issue, some problem, and to reach some agreement. And people who are engaged in this act of communication need certain qualities. They need empathy, they need honesty, they need to show respect for others, to have respect for themselves and to show respect for others. And they also need to give non-verbal feedback to others. So these were some of the qualities of good negotiator. We say that although this is a very specific, the negotiation is a very specific purpose to reach a certain agreement, it does not always achieve the same. Whenever two parties are negotiating over some issue, it is not necessarily that they reach any conclusion. Sometimes, despite all these efforts, they fail to reach any amicable solution to the problem. But despite the fact, they need to show their utmost honesty to the problem. They must give this sense to others that they are very honest. Obviously, you are not supposed to leave ground, but at least you should give this feeling to others that you are honest. And if there is anything that is the main hindrance in the resolution of this problem, it is just because that you very honestly feel that you are at the right place. Before attempting to negotiate, let's consider a few negotiating strategies. We have 4 strategies. Number 1 is win-win strategy. Number 2 is win-lose strategy. Number 3 is lose-win strategy. And number 4 is lose-lose strategy. So just by listening to these different types of strategies, you can very well understand that what each means. But we need to discuss these in detail. Win-win strategy is a strategy in which both parties are satisfied with the settlement negotiated. It is basically, it aims to meet the needs of both parties. None of the party is in a winning position or in a losing position. In fact, a result is hard to achieve. Good verbal and non-verbal communication and careful listening all help to achieve it. We can only succeed when both parties concentrate on the problem solving and they communicate very well. Each party in this win-win situation is likely to committed to the outcome. So when parties are committed to the outcome, they know that they have to reach at a certain agreement. So in that case, they come up to a solution which is acceptable to both the parties. But remember that in this win-win strategy, it is very important that after successfully negotiating a difficult or important issue, take the time to follow up to check that the other party also considers that the result is win-win. So this is very important, that sometimes it happens that we have reached an agreement and we afterwards in follow-up stage we find that the other party has not agreed to it. So it's very important that we must keep checking the follow-up. Then we have win-lose strategy. This type of, as it is very clear, in this type of a strategy, basically the initiator who being satisfied, the initiator who just takes the steps becomes satisfied, whereas the other party is unsatisfied. This strategy focuses on the initiator's problem to the exclusion of the other. So the initiator wins in this type of strategy. Many people who adopt this strategy use a confusing presentation or a dominating style of speech and body movement. We will be discussing, as I told you, the style of power, etc. This invites the other side to be just as difficult or to withdraw from conflict. So this win-lose strategy is in favor of the initiator. Third type of the strategy is a lose-win strategy. This is a situation in which the initiator is dissatisfied and the other party is satisfied. So it's contrary to the second one. The losing party usually makes too many concessions. They accept a lot of things. So in extreme case, the win-lose style of negotiation and the lose-win style of negotiation can lead to a deadlock. So this second and third can bring to a deadlock. Even the fourth one is. So deadlock can occur when neither party is satisfied by the negotiation. So we have the fourth type of strategy, that is lose-lose strategy. It results from a situation in which the objective of both the parties are rigid. It happens in a lot of situations when both parties are having a very strong stance regarding any issue. So when their objectives are very rigid, they are unable to collaborate. So this is the most important quality. When this quality lacks, the collaboration quality lacks, the parties come to this lose-lose situation, and both parties walk away from the negotiation dissatisfied. When agreement cannot be reached, a third party may mediate or help other people. In any negotiation, be aware of your own and other person's objective and expectation. Keep your objective reasonable and try to avoid lose-lose outcome. So this is very important. So we have discussed different types of strategies, and you have seen that these strategies do occur in the negotiation stage. And people normally, when two people are having some issue, every one of them wants to win. When we are having this situation, nobody actually wins. This situation in which everybody wants to win, dominate other, in that case the result is lose-lose situation, not the win-win situation. For a win-win situation, the negotiator needs to have the qualities that we just discussed. They need to coordinate with each other. They need to respond honestly with each other. They need to give proper feedback to each other. They need to understand their position and the position of the other party. So with all these qualities, any problem can be resolved. But when the negotiator lack these qualities, they are very rigid, and they respond in a wooden manner. So as a result, what they come to a to this lose-lose situation, and they fail to meet their objective. So in this case, you need to understand the people. Whenever you are going to see people for in such a situation, you need to understand the thinking process of the people, how people think, what are normally the styles of the people. For a good communicator, the knowledge of psychology is very important. You must know that how people interact in different situations. What are people's personal style? What do they gain from their position, which is power, and we'll be discussing later. So we need to understand different styles of the people, their personal styles. Personal styles in negotiation. Whenever people come together to negotiate, they bring their own style with them, and these affect the way they communicate and handle the conflict. Obviously, when each one of us claims to have a style, this style goes with him. Sometimes we claim and sometimes we don't, but we do have one style, and you'll see that we can very easily know that which style we have out of the styles we are going to discuss. But whenever people come together, they come with these style, and their personal style affect this process of communication. So basically these are 5 styles. Number 1 is self-denying, number 2 is self-protecting, number 3 is self-exposing, number 4 is self-bargaining, and number 5 is self-actualizing. So self-denying is a style of the people who are difficult to negotiate. I mean, the people who have this style are very difficult to talk to. They are basically introverted and reticent with the information or feedback. Introvert, subjective. These people are subjective and they hide their feelings. So be aware, if you have these qualities, you have to change them. It means that you are your personal lifestyle, your personal style is self-denying. If you are hiding feeling, if you are difficult to negotiate or talk to, if you are introverted, or if you are reticent with the information. So you may have a person in any negotiating situation who has this self-denying style. Next to it is self-protecting style. In this style, people use divinatory tactics. Divinatory tactics means that when you talk to them and you discuss them, they, instead of discussing on the issue at hand, they try to discuss other people. They try to set track, and they try to hide their true feeling. So they are very difficult to talk to, because when people have this type of a personal style, you cannot talk to them, because they are always fleeting from one point to another. You cannot talk to these people. Then we have another type of personal style, that is self-exposing style. People wish to be the center of attention. They demand attention, and to demand attention they speak very loudly, and they normally use attention-seeking body movements. So they give very little feedback. Then we have self-bargaining. Self-bargaining people show feeling if you show yours. So until you show something, they won't show you. They simply imitate others. Last is self-actualization. These are the people who are ideal negotiators, want information and feedback from others, and they present information very constructively. So they are the ideal negotiator. So whenever you are concerned with negotiating process, you must know these 5 styles of the negotiator. If a person is self-denying, or a person is self-exposing, or a person is self-protecting, or a person is self-bargaining, or self-actualizing. And out of all these 5, your best opponent is self-actualizer. So whenever you have people, you must try to understand their style. So it will help you in this process of negotiation. You will know that you can reach some conclusion. But only knowing these personal styles is not enough. You need a lot more. Negotiation is not an easy process. It requires a lot of things, and you have to understand the real nature of this process. So after knowing these personal style, you also need to be aware of the barriers, that what barriers can be there. Because whenever people are coming, they are not coming with their styles only. There are also certain psychological barriers which may arise. So be on the alert for these signs of barriers. Psychological barriers to negotiator can be this type of feeling intimidated by so-called powerful people, fear of conflict or confrontation, fear of losing face by the boss or colleagues, lack of self-confidence. So these can be the barriers. So negotiator coming to this situation, that is negotiation, come with these psychological barriers. So in fact, when people come together, they all have these things, or one thing is dominating the other. Beside this, there is people are not coming with their style. Obviously they are born with the style, or they have developed the style. It's a discussion of another discipline. But another important thing to understand is power and negotiation. When people come to negotiate, they are empowered. They are empowered by their position. They are empowered by some superiors, and so on. So we also need to understand this aspect of power. When an organization delegates people to get the job done, it gives them power to act. Power may be used to influence, and in some cases to control people. So it can also be used to bring about change. Power can be exerted over one person or a group by another person or group. So power used well achieves good communication and results. So if you use power well, the result is very good. If people use it properly, normally we've seen that it is misused, but if it is used properly, you will make an impact on the workplace. If you use the power delegated to you by dint of your position, your role in the organization, and you use it properly, you make good impact on your workplace. So power is a very useful tool in negotiation process, and it can otherwise be a very negative tool. So misuse of power can bring about negotiation to a deadlock. So you also need to understand the basis of power. What are the bases of power the people are coming with to this negotiation? So we need to understand basis of power. There are 5 bases of power. That is workplace power. Number 1 is legitimate power. 2 is expertise power, 3 is reward power, 4 is coercive power, and 5th is consultative powers. So we need to discuss legitimate powers basis on a person's position or role in an organization. Their authority and control over resources give them power that is acknowledged. So legitimate power is basically the power that stems from one's role in an organization or one's authority in an organization. So when you are negotiating, you need to understand the type of workplace power the person is having. Expertise power, as I said, people with more skill and strength than others. So normally the colleagues of these people who have this expertise power defer to them. Then we have reward power, which is exerted by someone who has controlled over resources desired by others. It happens. Such a person can influence and manipulate behavior. So this is another type of power. Coercive power is exerted by people or those who use their authority or any force, emotional or physical, against the interest of the other party. So these are the people who always go against other. Coercive, they coerce people. Consultative power is another type of power, and it is exerted by someone who seeks information, consider others' advice, and make plans with others. They operate in any workplace, either singly or in combination. Perception of what power is and how it should be used varies between people and organization. Acknowledgement of and deference to power depend on others' perception. So you see that these 5 types of power can be very helpful in understanding this process of negotiation. You can know that which power a certain person is endowed with. So it will help you in understanding the way the person is going to deal with you. A person who has power, particularly over the allocation and use of resources, must be willing and able to use that power to make discussion and take action. But don't depend solely on your workplace power resource or your personal power. Develop strategies that achieve results. I mean, if you think that your organization enables you to act by giving you certain power, in a negotiation situation, you are not going to benefit from this. You need to develop certain strategies. The strategies which basically helps you achieve some result. And the most important is to use your communication skills to present your ideas without producing conflict. I repeat this again and again, that your ability to communicate is the most prized quality of you, and this can help you in any type of communication, whether it is oral communication or written communication, any type of communication, and you will certainly be successful. So after discussing this, that what are the personal style and how do people use power in this process of negotiation, and which is the most important of all these, which can help resolve the issue, that is communication. We now come to an approach to negotiation. As I just said, that it is a process in which two or more than two people or parties with common or conflict interest decide on a specific issue or business transaction. So this may at times produce win-win, win-lose, lose-win, or lose-lose situation. A 5-step approach is more suited to a situation where the issue is more important than any issue of less important. So these are very helpful. So let's look at this 5-step approach. The first of this is to plan for a negotiation. Whenever you have to resolve some issue, you have an issue at hand, what you need to do is you need to make planning. Planning is very important. Obviously, here we again be discussing all those planning steps, or most important thing. Whenever we talk about planning, you must think of a few things about the purpose and the people you are going to talk, and the information that you must gather. You will see that there is quite a similarity in all the planning steps for any type of communication, whether it's written communication or it's oral communication. For each type of communication, you have to go through these planning steps. So in fact, these planning steps are the same. Once you have learned these planning steps, they can be helpful in any other type of communication. So planning for negotiation, you need to make a careful and thoughtful planning, which is essential. So before you negotiate, first create a set of clear objectives to steer you towards the result you want. Your objective must be very clearly written. Though it's an act of oral communication, but it asks you to go into writing process. So take down your objectives. A writing objective is as important as they are in any other type of communication. So prepare the objective which allow you to progress through the 5 stages of negotiation, so that you could benefit from it. So in this 5-step approach to negotiation, the first is planning, and here you go for the objectives. You make a list of the objective that you want to achieve from the negotiation. The next to negotiation is information that will help you in this process. So give the other party relevant information. Make sure that this information is accurate and objective. Develop and maintain good relationship with other party, and consider the other party's point of view. So this is the second to this 4-stage approach. First is planning, and the second is gathering information. In gathering information, or this is in fact a sort of giving information too. So you seek information to meet your objective, and you pass on the same amount of information to other. Since our time of today's lecture is about to finish, we finish the topics here. But let's see what we have discussed. Today we have, in the first part of the lecture, we have discussed something of oral presentation, and I read an oral presentation for you, and then a few signals that can be very helpful in writing oral presentation, making oral presentations. Then we started another topic, that is negotiation. It's a process in which 2 people or 2 parties try to resolve some issue, reach some agreement. And we during this we discuss different strategies for negotiation: win, lose, win, and lose. And then we discuss the certain qualities or certain styles of the people, the personal styles of the people who negotiate. So we discuss 5 styles of the people who come to negotiate. And then we talk about the power the power with which people come to negotiate. This is the workplace power, the power given to people by their position in an organization. And then we are discussing now to these 5-step approach, and we have discussed 2-step planning steps and the information gathering steps. We will discuss this the rest of the topic in the next lecture, and I hope that you must have learned these new things today. We'll be discussing the rest of the thing in the next. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.